NXT Deadline is over and done with. It's in the books. It was an okay pay-per-view for NXT. It could have been better, but it was all right. There were a couple matches on the card that were underwhelming. They felt like they could have taken place on television, that being Ethan Page and Mr. Iguana, and Tatum Paxley and Easy Dame. But outside of that, I felt like all the other matches were decent, especially the Iron Survivor matches. They were really, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed those matches. So, we're going to get into Deadline from December the 6th, 2025, the final pay-per-view of the year for NXT. So, we kicked the show off with the first match of the night. Oba Femi defeats Ricky Saints to become a two-time NXT champion. This was a really decent match. It was pretty good. Not better than their first encounter back at Halloween Havoc, but this was okay. Ricky did really well here in this match. Same thing with Oba Femi. He did his power moves and stuff. Both guys kicked out of each other's finishers, and Ricky ended up going for trying to go for the Rochambeau. That was denied, and then Oba Femi ended up hitting a second fall from grace powerbomb for the 1, 2, 3. Post-match, both guys shake hands. So this is fine, I guess. It seems like Ricky and Oba aren't done with each other yet. They're both 1-1. They got to do the rubber match at some point, but apparently it seems like Ricky could be getting his call-up, main roster call-up, but I doubt it, though. Now, with Oba Femi winning, which is great, and I'm fine with, it's going to lead to Drew McIntyre getting involved between Cody Rhodes and Oba Femi at Saturday night's main event. We know good and damn well that neither Oba Femi nor Cody Rhodes, they're going to lose. Neither of them are going to lose. So Drew McIntyre is that out. He's started going to cause a no contest finish, basically. Cody's not losing, then neither is Oba Femi. You've got to protect both guys. Cody is the face of the company, and Oba is the face of NXT for now until he gets his call up, which he should, because I don't think he'll be champion long anyway. I really don't. I could see Oba being on the main roster either before or after WrestleMania 42. All right, moving on from that. So this leads us into Zarya and Sol Ruka. They're on FaceTime. Sol Ruka apologized to Zarya for what's been happening between the two of them for the past 2 weeks. Sol Ruka wished Zarya was here tonight. Zarya felt like Sol Ruka didn't want to hear from her. Zarya tells Sol Ruka that they should talk when she comes back to Orlando. Sol Ruka apologizes for not telling Zarya about getting the opportunity to face Bayley at Saturday night's main event next weekend. Sol Ruka tells Zarya that she has to go because the women's Iron Survivor Challenge is next. And then Zarya wishes Sol Ruka good luck. Okay, this is fine. This actually makes sense. Moving on from that, we get a Hank and Tank vignette about them winning the tag titles in Pro Wrestling Noah. Okay, cool. Who really gives a damn? Waste of time. Moving on. This leads us into the women's Iron Survivor, which was won by Kendal Gray. This match was super fun. Kudos to all 5 women involved: Sol Ruka, Jordan Grace, Carolina Jordan, Lola Vice, and Kendal Gray. Kendal Gray winning is great. Kendal Gray is tremendous. She's excellent. And she's an Evolve. I think that they're going to end up putting her on NXT permanently because she was on NXT 2.0. So this is not like her first time being involved in NXT, really. At that time, she was, green, but she's gotten a lot better since then. That was like in 22 or 23. I believe that was in 2023. But she's gotten better since then, and this match kicked ass. So Soul Ruka did her stuff. She ended up getting 2 points when she hit a double Soul Snatcher. I think she pinned both, was it Jordan Grace and Lola Vice? So basically, it came down to all the women had 2 points. And so the final minute of the match was really solid. Kalani ended up hitting the 450. Then her and Jordan Grace, they brought outside the ring. Lola Vice ended up eating the Shades of Grey from Kendal Gray, and Kendal Gray has 3 points, and she wins. And then she has a standoff with JC Jane in Fatal Influence. So this is cool. I do like this really good shit here. It makes perfect sense. The main reason is because I think they're going to end up probably calling up JC Jane, more than likely, once she loses to Kendal Gray. Kendal Gray has gotten a massive push, and it's basically earned. Like, she's earned it, basically. She's been putting in that damn work, which is good. And I'm guessing you just go ahead and go with Kendal Gray, with her being NXT champion. There'd be no point for JC Jane to retain. She's been in NXT for way too long, in my opinion. Same thing with Fallon Henley, maybe. You can find someone else to replace JC Jane if you want to still keep Fatal Influence alive as a faction. But I don't think you need that, if we're being honest. But Kendal Gray has got to win come New Year's Evil. All right, moving on from that. This leads us into Mariah May. She's backstage in Ava's office. So, Ava says the only reason that Mariah May is the NXT Women's North American Champion is because Zarya threw in the towel at NXT Gold Rush. Mariah wants to issue an open challenge this upcoming Tuesday on NXT. Ava says that Mariah doesn't act like Ilya Dragunov or Sami Zayn. Mariah May continues to plead her case. Ava reluctantly agrees to allow Mariah May to have the open challenge. This is okay, I guess. Again, this is kind of boring because there's no long-term plans for Mariah when she's been there for about a good 6-7 months now. You should have opponents for her lined up. Maybe this leads to maybe Kalia Armstrong, being the one to challenge Mariah May, maybe. We don't know. But that would be a heel versus heel program, but you never know. It'll probably be somebody like a Ren Sinclair, more than likely. I'm willing to bet money on that shit. It's going to be like Ren Sinclair, somebody that Mariah May can beat with ease. That's just the way I see it. So, I don't know. Hopefully I'm proven wrong, but I highly doubt it. Moving on. This leads us into a backstage interview with Miles Bourne. He was being interviewed by Sarah Schreiber. So Miles Bourne was hoping to face Ricky Saints for the NXT Championship, especially with Ricky Saints having his back for the past couple of months. Miles Bourne promises to become the Iron Survivor if it means going through Oba Femi. Miles Bourne is fine with that. John Cena tells him to compete in the Men's Iron Survivor Challenge. And then we go from that to a backstage brawl between Jordan Grace and Kalani Jordan. Okay, cool stuff there. All right, moving on from that. This leads us into Ethan Page retaining the North American Championship by defeating Mr. Iguana. This was a no-nothing match. I just don't really care about this. I really don't. Ethan Page wins via the Twisted Grin. I do like Mr. Iguana in small doses. He's solid in AAA, but he's just not a serious character, in my opinion. It reminds me of, very Orange Cassidy from AEW or Grado from TNA when he was there. Stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know what you do with Ethan Page. I like Ethan Page. He's great, but there has to be contenders for Ethan Page. There's got to be some baby faces in the back that Ethan Page can have a feud with. Somebody's got to be there. Moving on. So Sarah Schreiber, she had a backstage interview with Kendal Gray and Ren Sinclair. So Kendal Gray is feeling some emotions right now. She was the underdog, the rookie, but she's the Iron Survivor. So Ruka shows up. Soul says that Kendal was the better woman tonight, but if she was out there first and her knee wasn't messed up, she would be the Iron Survivor. Ren Sinclair says that it sounds like Soul Ruka's making a lot of excuses. Kendal Gray started the match and earned the right to become the Iron Survivor. Soul Ruka calls Zarya her best friend despite her questionable behavior. So Ruka tells Ren Sinclair that she'll always have Zarya's back. Okay, that's fine, I guess, but where is this leading? All right, moving on from that, this leads us into Dark State. They're hyping up Dion Lennox ahead of the main event. Oba Femi shows up. Oba Femi says that he did his part. Dion Lennox says that these boys are in danger tonight, and Oba Femi won't be safe at New Year's Evil. Oba Femi says, good, and we'll see about that. Okay, that is fine there. Good shit there. Moving on. Izzy Dame defeats Tatum Paxley. This match just felt like something that would have happened on television. When Tatum cut the promo on the Go Home show, how she wanted to punish and hurt Izzy, why couldn't this have been like a stipulation match, like a last woman standing match, or an I Quit match, or a no DQ match, or something of that sort, to say that she wanted to punish Izzy, right? Not a traditional standard match, but an actual match with weapons, right? I don't know. So in the end, Sean Spears, his sorry ass got involved. He ripped off one of the dolls, one of their heads, and then this allowed for Izzy Dame to hit the big boot, followed by the sky high for the 1, 2, 3, and Izzy Dame wins. Again, this felt like this was taking place on television. They didn't reach a first or even second gear at all in this match. This is just a standard little match. It doesn't really matter. Paxley, she slapped Sean Spears, which was great. That's good there. So I don't know. I really don't know. Excuse me. I don't know at all. I don't know where this shit is going. What do you do with Tatum now? What do you do? Do you call her up? Do you still continue her feud with her feud with Izzy Dame? What do you do? What do you do? But who knows? Moving on from that. So Ricky Saints is backstage. He's talking to Jevon Evans in the locker room. So Ricky's frustrated about losing the NXT Championship. Jevon tells Ricky to keep his head up and to keep a positive mindset because he'll become champion again. Ricky says that Jevon doesn't understand because he couldn't beat Oba Femi. Jevon says that he's going to win the Iron Survivor Challenge and he's not going to wait for New Year's Evil. He's going to become the NXT champion. Ricky hopes so, and then he wishes Jevon Evans good luck. Okay, that's fine there. Moving on from that, we get a Shiloh Hill vignette. Basically talking about some conspiracy shit. And it seems like he's going to be making his in-ring debut on Tuesday. Who cares? These conspiracy hacker gimmicks, they don't work. You know, Sami Callihan has done that shit. Mustafa Ali's done that shit. It just doesn't work. Like, I'm not really interested in this. Come on, like, get real. Moving on, this leads us into the main event of the evening. Jevon Evans wins the Iron Survivor. This was a pretty solid match here. Leon Slater did Leon Slater things, same thing with Jevon Evans. All the guys ended up having one win apiece. Dion Lennox, he impressed me heavily in this match. He really did. He brought out some amazing power moves and stuff. He was super aggressive in this match. Love it. I do think it is time for the Dark State experiment to end and be done with. But Dion, he's showing me something, and Dion Lennox is starting to grow on me. If he can get out of Dark State, Dion Lennox could really be something when Trick Williams is no longer in NXT. And I suspect Trick Williams to get called up soon, either sometime this month or or in January of 2026. But Trick Williams needs to kind of bounce out of NXT, if we're being honest. But Jevon Evans winning was the right call. He ended up rolling up Miles Bourne with like 3 seconds left to spare, so he got the win there, which was great. Good shit there. Then post-match, Oba Femi shows up. He has a brief stare down with Jevon Evans. The lights go out. So there's a mystery person walk on a bridge, and it's revealed to be Tony D'Angelo. He shows up, and then he blasts Jevon Evans with the forget about it. And then basically Tony D pours broken pieces of his hat on top of Jevon Evans, and then that was it. And then he had a brief stare down with Oba Femi. So I do like this. This is good. This makes sense. It seems like they're going to make him a serious character. The Don character's over with because, well, Luca, I think, has been released, if I'm not mistaken. We have no idea where Rizzo is, Adriana Rizzo. And Stax is doing, like, TNA stuff. So, you know, the Angela family's over with anyway. That's been long gone. So, can't wait. We should get a massive explanation on NXT this Tuesday about everything. And I do like this. I really do. Overall, the show was okay. I did like Oba Femi and Ricky Saints. I did like that. That's fine. I do see Oba losing. I think he's going to lose at New Year's Eve to Jevon Evans. It makes sense. Because you could feud Jevon Evans with either Ricky Saints or Tony D'Angelo, right? So you don't want to just, you know, have Jevon not win the title. It's time. I think Jevon's proved himself. I think he's ready. The crowd loves him. He's super over. Push this man. So that's what I would do. And hopefully it does happen. So I did like the Oba Femi, Ricky Saints stuff. And the men and women Iron Star matches were good. And I did not care about the singles matches, Tatum Paxley and Izzy Dame and Ethan Page and Mr. Iguana. Those felt like television matches, and those should have taken place on television anyway. But overall, it was an okay show. But what did you guys think? Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.